Good morning, park managers, and welcome back to High Pine Zoo. Today we're going to be making an enclosure for a Gigantosaurus, which we're going to try and make it high security, as we know this thing's pretty strong and could be particularly pretty dangerous. So we're going to find ourselves a nice little spot, probably over here. Eventually we'll get around to making a few bridges across. But yeah, as it's a dangerous creature, we're going to make it into like a pit-like enclosure. Just add, that little bit of extra security for our build. Adds to like a somewhat like almost like a natural barrier. And I'm going to give it like a humongous enclosure. I say that, but then I might actually make it a little bit big. So it is a pretty big creature, but then again, it's going to be one of those. It's going to be quite a taxing enclosure, I think, because when I make pit enclosures, I like using a fair bit of rock knocking about, and I think I'll keep that straight there because that's where we're going to place our like viewing galleries, and then the rest of it kind of sort of go anywhere it wants in a sense. So I think we'll do it so it's like that maybe, and then this back area here can be like the off-show area, and that's how we're going to work things out. So let's get ourselves a viewing gallery. We'll get ourselves the right viewing gallery for High Pine Zoo. There we go. Shift. Didn't realise we're on auto lock then. Right, try and get it somewhat in line. We'll do it's kind of jutted it up a bit there, but it is what it is. So we'll do to make this life easier for myself. We want a Jurassic Park fence, so we'll go and get there. There we go. Not Jurassic Park, Jurassic World even. Actually, no, we don't even want Jurassic World. We want ourselves a DPW. Right, there we go. We got there in the end. We won't use 5 because it's a concrete barrier. I quite like having some of this, but mainly this fence and then the offshore area to be the concrete barrier area. So we'll curve that around with this, like that. We'll try and just like add to it. Obviously, the idea of having this hill, we're going to be adding like a load of rock to it to make it harder for the Gigantosaurus or Giganotosaurus, however you want to say it. Just a little bit of that extra task, give it that less wanting to try and smash through the walls. Obviously we're in sandbox mode, so it doesn't matter, but we're going to be adding a little bit of storytelling to this, as I always like to do. Right, so I think, yeah, we said the back bit's going to be, we say that big? Probably not that big, actually, probably from there to there, I'm thinking. Yes, we'll do that. Sometimes you'll notice I get like a little bit lost, well, not lost, but I'll do half a thing and then jump onto another thing and then come back to doing half a thing, and yeah, it always ends up like that for me. But yeah, we'll stick to the fencing until the fencing is complete. There we go. So you'll notice me just keep clicking the wrong thing on my mouse to scroll around. Recently I've been playing a lot of Arma 3, so yeah. There's slightly different mechanics for moving around and I get confused. As part is, I might raise the. I don't want to do this. I might raise it and have like a ramp going in. That's what I'm thinking. That's my train of thought right now. I'll have a ramp going into the enclosure, so it probably raises up so the concrete's all the same height, and we don't have this weird like bending kind of thing going on. I mean, it's curved a bit, but I think that's kind of be slightly awkward, a more awkward structure than anything. So we'll raise it up like this. There we go, and then we'll make ourselves well, before we make a ramp, we'll get ourselves a gate in here. Is that about centre-ish, would you say? About there, that'll do. And we'll have our staff area over this little bit here, and then we'll make ourselves our like little ramp that we said. We'll smooth it out. Bring the radius down a little bit, maybe. Yeah, there we go. We'll do it like that. There we go. There's a smooth entrance into the enclosure itself, and I think we'll do the food in the back of the water over here. Right, there we go. So, helps if I go on the right. See, I get lost even though I've been playing this game for like 3 years. I always get lost in the menus to where everything is. Yeah, we'll have the 2 viewing galleries there. We'll have our like a watery lake on setting there. And then over in this bit here we'll have some food. In this corner, we'll place that there, and then in this corner here, we'll stick the goat feeder. And we'll use some natural plants to sort of like make it blend in with the rest of the enclosure, because we're doing it rest of the enclosure, rest of the map. And then we'll make this into like a I think redwood lakes would be quite nicely appropriate for these. I think they'll look great amongst the giant trees. Let's see. I don't want to make this kind of like chicken nugget shape or like crescent moon shaped maybe. I think that was kind of cool. Do a bit of a hill here. So maybe make it a bit like that. Just off a bit of barrier, but we have a bit of height in here. And do the radius a bit smaller here. Have a tiny bit of a hill, maybe a little less than that. Oh, I have one more tool here. Smooth it out a bit like so. Yeah, I think this is looking quite nice like this. Right, so I could use a redwood brush, yeah I could, but it gets a bit wonky on these hills. So what I'm going to do is use that still as our base layer, add something interesting, so we have a fair bit there, a little bit here, a little bit on the ground level here, but keep that as a somewhat, so it's pushing like a little made path, maybe bring it away from the water's edge a bit there. We'll do a little bit here, make the radius a little bit smaller. Oh, that is the red. I mean, yeah, go on. We'll add a little bit of red because this is flat ground here. Maybe we'll do it on the flat grounds because kind of you get some of these broken trees which look really cool. It's a shame that broken tree is not something you can place down as a decoration, because that look really great on like deserted sort of maps and things like this. But we're going to thicken that area up anyways. Be a bit, actually no, I quite like that being a bit bare. A bit bare like that. So we'll add our sand where we want it. So we'll do sand here. Maybe a little bit of sand, tiny little bit of sand on this bit here. When we don't add sand, we're going to be adding rock. It's like a little bit of a feature. I quite like the idea of having somewhat a bigger beach area there. A tiny little bit of rock here. Just a tiny bit, not too much. But a fair bit of rock on this little slopey bit. A bit there, like so. A little bit of rock here. Where I'm going to do the rock brush, I'm going to be adding rocks. Did I say anywhere else over here? I'm quite happy. Obviously, all the way around our enclosure, we're going to be doing rocks. I think for the bit when I do the rocks around the barrier, I probably will. I don't know. Do I want to go overboard with rocks, or do I want to keep it simple? Because I mean, the rock brush does a pretty nice effect as it is, and I can just add the odd rock here and there. If the dinosaur walks up the rock, it's not really the end of the world, is it? I mean, I think it'll look nice with the odd bit of rock, but obviously not as much as I usually do. I want to try and make it simple, somewhat simple, nice, sweet, quick. Because I feel like a lot of my videos, when I'm making them, I can spend over like, easily over like an hour or two just placing rocks down. Especially when I'm making like a port on an island. That's a lot of rock. Maybe do a little bit there. It's kind of showing. Okay, so we've got a rock brush down anyways. We'll do rock. We'll save rocks to last. And then I can sort of decide them from like editing. We want to thicken up our redwood areas up like here. With a few more woody areas. I am only going to be adding 1 giga into this enclosure. I'm not going to go and add like too many. I could add a pair, you know, could have a pair of gigas, that'd be kind of cool, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like it's just nice when you have like the big theropods where it's just one on their own, like one Rexy, one Spino, like one Caracar. Honestly, for me, I do and I don't like the evolution Caracaronsaurus model. For me, like J-Pog has my favourite design for that dinosaur. I mean, I know they're not made by the same people, but the Caracaronsaurus in this game looks like it's constantly shocked. Like, it really does. If you've seen it, you'll know what I mean. It's just constantly in like shock. It looks very skinny. It doesn't look very as like muscly as it could be. I feel like Corydonosaurus is quite a meaty dinosaur. Like, I feel like it deserves that muscle. It definitely adds to like a factor of it. Yeah, that's already looking quite nice. I like the idea of like dense redwoods. I like seeing them. I'm trying not to make it too dense because obviously it's Gigantosaurus is it's big, and it's going to be constantly glitching through these trees, which can kind of like take you out of the game a little bit, seeing them glitch through things. But it is what it is. So we're going to try and make it somewhat friendly for our bigger dinosaur, our bigger theropod. Right, I think we're almost there with the redwoods. I think I'll add like a few like little ones, little tiddlers. I have got a random rotate, haven't I? Yeah, I do have it. I have a random rotate, but that extra one wanted to stay the same way. A few tiddlers here and there. Let's see. Honestly, like making these enclosures, I'll have 3 close together. It's like, if you ever played Evolution 1 when you're doing the redwoods, like you always got them like the redwood trees in clusters, which were really cool looking. Like I quite like that little cluster of redwoods. And you can almost make it on here, almost. And then we get to the fun bit. Like I said, I was going to keep this nice and simple for our lovely gigas, or giga. And actually, no, I want a dead tree in the middle of the rocks. I mean, the rock ain't there yet, but it's gonna be there. It's gonna be there. Right, let's see. There we go. Let's start placing our rocks down. We're gonna use the Taiga set of rocks because it's definitely gonna fit in. So, I'm gonna make these bits a little bit more rocky, where it is within the enclosure. Well, I mean, I'll leave it there. I didn't mean to place that there. Yeah, I think that's looking quite... It's looking quite the part. Add a few little ones here and there. And again, for the main reason why I'm not adding too many rocks, because I feel like this is going to be quite a big build. Not this particular enclosure, but the rest of the park. And the more bits and bobs you have knocking around your park, the more likely and the more risk you go into making it laggy. Like there's some parks I've made where there's just so much going on that I can't even load into them anymore. So at the point it was nice to build them, but now I can never spectate them ever again. So yeah, I learned a lesson. That's why I started, like, when I make a big park, I do less in it. If I'm making the majority of my parks, I try and make them small. I try and challenge myself to make like smaller parks where like I'll use 5 theropods, 5 like 5 herbivores, 5 carnivores, things like that. I try and like narrow it down so there's not too much going on. And I feel like it's harder to build a smaller park than doing a park with everything in it. And I feel it's more rewarding once you like finally narrowed it down to what creatures you want to add to that park, that build. And yeah, I mean, that's looking quite nice. Little rock area here, maybe? I mean, we already did the brush, so we may as well. Maybe that there. In the background here. If I can get in there. I don't think we can get that one in there. Okay, let's try and like... Can I wiggle it around like that? Will that appease the hitboxes? This way a little bit more. That's going to be in that tree. Yep. I hate the fact it's nowhere near it, and we know the rock isn't going to affect it in any way. But it's still... There we go. Actually, that was kind of cool like that, to be honest. There we go. I thought we were going to be fine. Right, we're going to do it random on rocks, and we're just going to quickly just go here and there with it. Let the game pick the rocks. Let the game do it. And I'm not going to go too crazy. As you know, like this some people might already look crazy as it is, but if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that I would quite happily sit here for over an hour placing loads of individual rocks, making it absolutely like... It's kind of interesting to the eye, I think, the way I usually do it, but I want to have a try and have a go at making this look rather nice without spending over that amount of time placing that many rocks. Because, yeah. You like one here, got a few little ones. Like that. A few little ones there. There we go. Actually, that looks kind of cool. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Sometimes this is a bit of a godsend, just having this random rock. This is how I usually do with Side Bs, is just randomly flailing rocks. Because the main point of rocks in Side Bs is for like the pteranodons and other flying reptiles to have a place to perch. And also like gives them like decent resting areas where they can rest, especially around water. And when you place in as many rocks as I do on there, random rotation really does help. Right, there we go. We're nearly back without, I mean, I'm quite proud of myself not to, to be honest, I'm quite itching right now. I really want to place the rocks the way I usually do it. But I think it's going to look not too bad, not too, you know, shabby with this sort of way. Too many big rocks there. Let's have a big rock in the bottom there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I'm like letting the game force me to keep having big rocks when I can just, when I know I'm nearly there done. So let's just place the last few rocks of our own. I think that's where I call it. I mean, it already looks quite rocky all the way round. It's looking like it's almost like a bit of a pit enclosure. We've got this nice lake in the middle, which I think I'll use a rock brush for this around the edge on the inside of water. And I don't mind having that mud in the middle, because then it kind of looks like there's been like leaf matter and stuff like dragged into the middle, and that's where it's sort of settled, rotted, and that's why you can't see the rock there. And yeah, let's get on to our, like, so I was going to do a little bit of a brush here. Like, just sort of the normal stuff knocking. So, let's do a bit of trees there. I like that little path-like thing it's sort of made. Is that a dirt? What's dirt? That is the dirt brush, isn't it? It already looks like there's enough dirt as it is. Can I do it like this? Just like make sure it's definitely established. I think on the edges we'll add like a bit of this red brush, because I quite like this. So then it kind of like also means like loads of stuff growing there, but you can easily see the path that the Gigantosaurus is made. Maybe a little bit there. It's kind of obvious that, but it's main areas that it walked on. It's kind of like avoided the rocks. Again, this is all storytelling. Obviously, it's not going to use the footpaths that you've made and things like that, but if it does, then it's kind of like a bonus. It kind of is. Right, there we go. Like so. Yeah, I think that's quite nice. There we go. So that's sorted. Little staff area, I think. Well, we'll leave this like this. When we actually make a bridge over and do all the path, we can do all the decorating. And the question is, do I want path going around it on both sides, or do I want it on one side? That's something I'll be coming to a little bit later. But yeah, that there is our enclosure. And I think what I might do, we will do next week another big theropod, and we'll have it over on this side, so then they can have like a joint staff area, which I feel like is quite a sensible thing to do with the space that we have. And yeah, that's it. So I'd like to say thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's given you a little bit of inspiration. And I'm going to be making a little montage to stick at the end with the Gigantosaurus in it, so you can see what it looks like in the enclosure. And as always, till next time, I'll see you then.